Johannes, you don't do dull games, it would seem, at Carrow Road. Another, very eventful game, but how'd you break it down?
I don't think you will ever believe that my favorite result in football is actually 1-0. But it is. But I think we're struggling a little bit, especially in our defensive game. I think we become too open too easily in some situations, which is, of course, end of the day comes down to me, and I need to prepare the boys better. And we have to look at how we can be a little bit more solid in that phase of the game. But other hand, it also makes us play with a lot of intensity in the game, with a forward-minded thinking in more or less all the actions we have out there, and that's why games like this can happen. But I actually sometimes prefer we only win 1-0.
When you called it really on Friday, when you previewed, and you said Boro, when they're good, they're very good. Did we see evidence of that, irrespective of maybe where your side could have been better in that first half, second part of the first half?
Yeah, I think we started well, and we got ourselves into some very good situations and moments. Of course, we scored a beautiful goal, but after that we invite them in. It's a shame we give that first goal away, where we don't get the positions right after that set piece situation. And then, of course, I would say the last 20 minutes of first half, we switch off in too many situations. We get too passive, and we allow that transition after a corner to be a goal where it doesn't matter really who the team is. We should never be able to be too open in a situation like that. So there's many things in these 20-25 minutes in first half where we simply have to be better. But again, also small margins in the game. We could score the second goal just straight after their second goal, where Boro hits the post with a beautiful attack down the left side. So we just have to keep on going and keep on pushing. That's the only thing I can expect.
And on that point, was that because it's only a matter of days since you've come back from 2 goals at Preston? Was that half time the messaging that you've done this already this week? You can do it again. Yeah,
and the message was actually to be even more calm in some situations, even though we were 2 behind. And I also told them that it's not important for us to score within the first 5 minutes of second half. It's important that we get into the game and we find the rhythm and we find the flow, and we have actually a little bit longer attacks on their half, because I think we were too direct when we got up there in first half, which opened up for some transition moments, which opened up for us having to defend instead of us attacking more and more and more after each other or after each situation. So it was actually more patience, that was the word for the guys in halftime. And then, of course, to be a little bit more, or bring in a little bit more physicality in the dual game, in a defensive game.
Obviously, a game of that nature there's big moments within the game. I mean, how big does George's penalty save prove in the final analysis?
Yeah, there's 2 great teams playing against each other, I would say, because of Middlesbrough doing so many things very, very good on a high level. So we knew that there would be moments in the game where we really have to suffer and defend, but we also knew that if we could create some of these good moments, we could be on top. And I think the game was like that, where the momentum was for them and then for us and then for them and then for us throughout the 90 minutes. But of course, there is these small details in the game, and George's penalty save is definitely one of them.
I mean, the life of a keeper, though, would you look at it maybe for first goal? He could probably do a little bit better there at his near post.
I think from my position, I think there's many things to it, because I don't think we solve that set piece situation that well. I think we get too ball orientated instead of finding the right positions in there. So we also open up for that shot on the back post, which is not ideal. It should not be. He should not be more or less alone in that space, which is defensively not good enough. So always first thinking is the collective approach. Do we do well enough to avoid this situation? And we don't. And then of course we can look into individual stuff after that. But that's for me and George, and not for you and I.
Yeah, obviously a bit of a sting in the tail there, Kenny, and his red card. Firstly, on the red card, what are your thoughts on that? You look like you went and had a very prolonged word with the officials at the final whistle, and then the ramifications. Is it 3 games?
I don't know, but I think it is. It must be, right. So of course that's not good for us. I think there were moments in the game where I'm also supporting the team in yellow out there. So maybe I see it from that perspective. So it's not because I want to blame the refs, but I think from my position it was soft. And now of course we have to deal with it for 3 games, which is that's a big one based on that call.
There's no process at all to appeal, or is that something you'd have to look into?
I have to watch it again. I haven't seen it again, so we have to watch it, and then of course if we think there's actually a possibility for us, then we do it.
No, just on a slightly lesser note, what did Glenn get booked for in the first half?
I have absolutely no idea.
Right.
no idea. But sometimes, of course, when a game is hectic, they also have to see if they can calm it down just a little bit, and a booking for an assistant is one of the options.
Just a couple more if I can. I mean, that's 3 draws this week, but that doesn't tell half the story. I mean, have you learnt a lot more about your group? Because in all of these games, you've had a lot of diversity to come through.
Yeah, I think that we're already there, with this team and this mentality in the group where we can fight back from being 2 goals down both Tuesday night and then Sunday out here again. I think that's impressive, and that was also my message to the players here towards the end. I think I'm so impressed with the mentality in the group. I'm so impressed with the way that we can deal with the halftime, where we come in. It's not been perfect the last 20 minutes of first, but still there's so much ambition and there's so much communication going on, and still mindsets where, okay, how can we attack second half so we can get a result out of this instead of blaming each other? And that's the way going forward. So I also told them here that when we do like this, it's maybe today we can think about, okay, it was only a draw, it was only 1 point, but we definitely build for the future. And when teams that we have to play against, they see this and they see, okay, this mentality in the group, they know they have to bring their A game to beat us.
And on that point, and final point from me, I mean, that's now a calendar year, which I know spans prior to your arrival, but Michael Carrick's come in and said, teams now know they come here, it's going to be a tough game because they look at that record. How big a building block is that to be that good at home?
It's important for us. Of course, we have to turn it at some point, so it's not too many draws at home. It's also wins. But of course, I think everyone could see that today was a tough one, and it was 2 really, really good teams playing against each other. So it could have gone both ways. But it's important for us with that record here at home, because you could feel it. You were out there, just listening to the crowd. The last 20 minutes of the game today was just that's what you need when you play at home. And again, I know I mentioned it a lot, but also when we were 2 goals down, they're still there to support the guys, which is why we can keep on building with the team as we do.
Johannes, in a league of fine margins as the Championship is, how important is that aspect of commitment, dedication, never say die spirit that your side has shown at Preston and again this afternoon? How crucial to the whole group is that spirit?
Yeah, but it's so important, because we can talk about tactics all day, but if they don't bring the heart and the passion and the team spirit to the games, then no chance. Now we have shown, and I don't think these 2 games are the only games that we have shown it so far this season. But we have kept on showing that, and I think also what I said before, I think it builds for the future, because the guys know that now. The guys know, okay, we can be 1 goal down, we can be 2 goals down, but if we get it right, we can work ourselves back into the game. And I think we were actually pushing for the 4th goal out there today before the red card, which is just, it pleases me a lot, because it's not for me to mention my work. It's the guys, what they do for the team and for the team bonding as well. So it's fantastic.
Can I just clarify, will you consider an appeal if you look at that evidence? Is it something you're going to go away and discuss and think about?
Yeah, of course, obviously. It's 3 games we have to play without Kenny. So if we think it's too soft, then it can be that we have to do something about it. But like I said, I haven't seen it, so it can also be when I go down and see it again that we just have to accept that that's how it is. But of course, we have to look into it. He's an important player, and just the way that he can, he can dictate the game from that central position, when the way that he can bring the guys up again, the way that he can start pressing for us and get all the boys going and so on. He's so important for us. So we have to see what we can do.
And lastly, Callum Doyle faced a tough task against the right winger. Is that something that you will look at in terms of formation? Do you wonder if he's more comfortable in a 3 with the wing-back system? Simply because if he gets against a very fast, technically very good player like he did Ben Doak, it was a bit of a mismatch at times. Yeah,
he's not the only one so far this season to have some difficult moments against him. So that's how it is. It's a risk reward kind of question, because of course what he gives us to the offensive play. It's just, it creates so many good opportunities and chances for us. And then we know that we had to be out there, support him, have as many situations where we can solve it 2v1 instead of only 1v1. So it's also some tactical matters in it where, it's risk and reward. And we chose the decision today to be, offensive minded and not thinking too much about how we can support and how we can be defensive orientated towards that situation. We can also avoid it by just having the ball.
All good.
Thanks, Johannes.
Thanks very much.